It's the birth of bacon, coming up tonight on NTV's Grow. It's the pig cam. Meet the FFA sow giving birth, streaming for all to see. And is there pork to cut from the state budget? Some lawmakers think so. The bigger issue is property tax relief. We'll break it down. And meet our new eye in the sky, NTV Skywatch, and how it enhances our ability to cover agriculture. It's time to grow. The moment has arrived. Can Nebraska lawmakers deliver on their promise to provide tax relief? That's our top story.
Erdman, Friesen, Geist, Groney.
Property tax is number one. It'll be my number one issue.
Farmers and state senators. Rural lawmakers say no issue is more important than tax relief.
But not only agriculture is paying too many property taxes, but your house is too high. Your property tax is too high on your house.
With 5 years of declining farm income, Senator Dan Hughes says Nebraska can't kill the golden goose.
The largest industry in the state of Nebraska is on its knees, and property tax is contributing to that factor.
Erdman is up first with a bill he calls the 50-50 plan. Here's how it works. If your local property tax bill is $1,000, roughly $600 goes to your local school. Erdman's plan would create a 50% credit applied towards income taxes. In this example, $300 back. Governor Ricketts calls it a fantasy, saying it'll cost $1 billion and take money from important services. Senator Kurt Friesen, a corn grower, doesn't go that far, but has doubts.
If at the end of the day that's the last thing standing, I'll support it. It wouldn't be my first choice in how we go about fixing our property tax situation. It does nothing with how we fund K-12 schools.
Friesen would like to work on the school funding side of the equation. The governor has previously tried to change the way farmland is valued for tax purposes. Erdman says if another proposal can save taxpayers $1 billion, he'll support it. If not, he wants voters to decide.
We hope that we get those signatures, start to get those signatures quite soon.
And property tax is the subject of our poll question. We want to know, what do you think is needed to achieve property tax relief in Nebraska, especially on ag land? Do we need to put more state funding into schools? Or do we need to have an income potential-based approach to valuing farmland? Or do you think things are fine just the way they are? Or do you have another approach? Follow Grow on Twitter, cast your vote, and we'll share that next time. There are fewer policy issues bigger than taxes and water, and both come together in a proposal sure to generate some interest. Senator Dan Hughes has introduced a bill that deals with the NCORP water project. NCORP is a joint effort of 4 natural resources districts to increase stream flows by buying land in Lincoln County that has been retired from irrigation. The proposal would allow that property and also Rock Creek augmentation to pay in lieu of property taxes on those acres that have been taken out of production. I talked to the senator. Here's more.
The benefit of being able to continue to irrigate in the Republican River Basin, which is what those 2 projects do for us, was the burden was falling on the local property taxpayer where those acres are at. They are off the property tax rolls. So the schools, the county, the local taxing entities were taking a hit for that. And
so they lost that valuation.
Yes, they lost that tax revenue from real estate taxes. So allowing the NRDs to pay that tax now, or in lieu of tax is what it will be, it does keep the local property taxpayer from being harmed, because everybody across the basin in the 4 NRDs that are part of that are benefiting. So, the burden was falling on a small group, and it needs to fall on everybody who's benefiting.
Those hazardous wind chills were definitely a concern as the new year started. NTV's Rashida Cabo was out there about a week ago trying to see what ranchers were dealing with.
For those who have livestock,
we're fortunate that we have shelter belts almost everywhere. I mean, our feeder calves are right behind the buildings.
Janelle Lobb is a rancher who has 150 cattle. Her biggest challenge during the winter:
keeping water going for them. So our other cows are crick fed. So as it gets colder, the crick ices over and we have to break that water.
She says the tank where they get their irrigation water to hydrate the cows from freezes up, so they put a water heater inside to give them warm water. And her advice for ranchers who don't have shelter belts:
just provide extra feed if they're actually feeding them. Put bedding down, or just sometimes we'll pull a trailer out into a cornfield to keep them protected from the wind a little bit too.
If cattlemen want to know what their target ought to be, they should start by asking their buyer. Kevin Heiser of Tyson Fresh Meats has a clear suggestion.
We're always looking for high quality grading cattle that the consumer ultimately will have a greater experience in their eating pleasure. So we tend to try to focus on choice and higher lean carcasses. Yield grade 3 choice and hires are preferred. Obviously the more upper 2/3 and the more prime that we can harvest, the more quality we're able to offer our customer.
Skeptics often wonder, if we produce enough, won't they quit paying a premium for them?
Well, we haven't had that problem yet, in that we're constantly trying to find more high-quality product. The premiums have actually gotten wider, not narrower, because consumers and our customers ultimately require and request more sorting and more quality standards that are maybe not always identical to each other's, but always pushing the envelope to provide a better eating experience than their competitor down the street.
The beef community is delivering on expectations far more often than in years past. Prime grading continues to improve, and national averages for percent choice climb.
We're putting a better product in front of the consumer, and hopefully we're going to be generating more demand across not only the country, but internationally as well.
The key to keeping that momentum going? Teamwork.
It's important for everybody to know we're in this business together, and none of us exist without the other. And we need to continue to make a product that the consumers want. Whether we start at the ranch and we end at the consumer, we all have to be driving in the direction that it enhances the demand for our product. And we need to recognize that we're going to get a lot further working together. And we need the producers, and they need us, and we need the customer.
A solid equation for bringing more dollars into the beef business.
The poor farm economy cast a shadow over everything in 2017. Now a look back at some of the year's other top stories. Here's more.
Right now there's a lot of challenges in the ag sector. The ag economy is in tough shape.
2017 was a challenging year for Nebraska farmers.
Prices are down, got to pinch everything we can to be profitable.
Experts don't see a quick turnaround following a year where Nebraska farmers received more than $500 million in federal safety net payments. Farmers also faced a difficult growing season.
We put the crop in with a challenge because spring was wet, cold, and then now we're taking out the crop and it's been wet.
Harvest brought several windstorms, leaving corn and profits on the ground.
A year's worth of effort and expense into the crop, and you're literally seeing it fall off in front of you in the combine as you're combining it. So it's pretty frustrating for the farmers.
And then the weeds.
I'm calling it the devil's spawn. I've thrown everything and the kitchen sink at it and can't kill it.
Jay Reiners doesn't hold back, talking about the weeds that have become a huge hassle.
They're just evolving faster and we can keep on top of it.
2018 brings new regulations on one of the tools farmers have, the weed killer dicamba.
Making them restricted use pesticides, meaning that all the farmers who are using these products or ag industry people would need to be certified applicators.
Despite those challenges, 2017 brought successes, opening new markets for American beef, with Nebraska beef first to both China and Israel.
We've had a lot of wins. It's fun to be on offense. We've got great domestic demand here in the U.S., but we must find more outlets for our product.
Well, I'm honored to be nominated by President Trump.
And the man who spearheaded those efforts, the longest-running state ag director in Nebraska history, as Greg Ibaugh gets national attention and a top post at the USDA. Up next, we dig deeper into the property tax issue with one of the key senators. Later, local kids in their classroom learn more about the hog industry, sharing it online. Stay with us.